Hey, what's up, everybody? Peek out here in Singapore, and I wanted to stop by again. I was happy to be on here live yesterday to introduce you to a summit speaker, but today I actually have a friend I want to introduce. His name is Roger, and he is the brain and the face behind American Reel. So American Reel is actually a spin-off of before he started his own segment. Hey, Tammy, I'm actually waiting for him to join. Hey, Roger.
Hey, Pika, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
So I was just mentioning that you started off with London Reel first before you started American Reel. Can you tell us just a little bit about how you found London Reel?
Well, I was following the show for a couple of years
Hmm.
and actually stumbled upon their course called Broadcast Yourself,
Okay,
where Brian Rose teaches people how to become a podcaster.
got it.
So
Okay.
that was an 8-week course. It was very intense, and I took it very serious because it
Yes.
was something I knew that I really wanted to do,
Okay.
and I just went all out. So
Nice.
at the end of the course, there were about 65 people in the course from around the world. So it was just magnificent being able to meet so many wonderful people
Okay.
from every walk of life. And at the end of the course, he invites one person per year to interview him in London. And
Nice.
I was very fortunate to be asked to interview Brian in London back in September of 2017. And
Wow. Okay.
it was just an amazing experience. And then from there, the show just,
The sky's been the limit.
yeah, it's taken a life of its own.
So the course itself, it was online, correct? You weren't in London doing the course. You were able to participate online, and then you flew to London to interview him.
Correct. Yes, it's an 8-week online course. You meet
Okay.
twice a week for an hour on a
Okay.
live call, and then you
Okay.
have some coursework throughout the week that you need to do to keep up through an accountability document. So there's a lot of tasks throughout the week in order, if you want to do it right. Of course, everyone
Right.
doesn't do the tasks, but those that do, you were able to see your progress and at 8 weeks.
Perfect. So I'm curious, you said you were already looking out for him, you were following him a little bit, but you knew that you wanted to possibly have a podcast or start interviewing people? Is that how that began for you?
Well, I didn't at first, no. So I was just watching the show, enjoying the show, enjoying the guests,
Hmm.
and a bunch of guys got together one evening, and we were just tossing out different ideas. And one person said, "Let's do a documentary." Another person
Okay.
said, "Let's do workshops."
Hmm.
And someone threw out the idea of a podcast,
Okay.
and it just clicked at that time because I was watching London Reel.
Right.
Kind of envisioned I would love to do that myself,
Hmm.
and then coincidentally, so I did start to put together my own show,
Yeah.
and this was before I even knew that London Reel offered a course, and I received an email one day from Brian talking about the course, and then
Okay.
it just went on from there.
Very cool. So how I met you was actually through it was actually through Ebony. So Ebony and I went through Current Success, and she mentioned that she was being interviewed by American Reel. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so major. Like that sounds like a really major thing. And she mentioned that you also had a Facebook group, which is where I actually got to interact with you a little bit more and learn. So your American Live Tribe is a 21-day introduction to going live. And the premise is so simple and so effective because you're trying basically an elevator pitch, right? You're getting ready to say as much as you can, as effectively as you can in 60 seconds. And I liked it. It was very difficult for me because as it was, I wasn't really comfortable getting online and being live, but you gave us a place where it was a safe community where we could learn to do this and then watch everyone else's 1 minute, introductions or their messages for the day. And we kind of get used to the idea of being online. You kind of like helped us get rid of that fear that we have of being live on camera. So the idea of that group itself, was that something that was part of London Reel, so you kind of adopted it here, or was that your brainchild?
Great question. So what happened was, after the London Reel Broadcast Yourself course, I then took a course called the and the
Okay.
Business Accelerators really try to teach you how to monetize whatever business you have. So
Okay.
I just have a podcast like London Reel. So natural for me to follow in his footsteps and Brian's
Yeah.
footsteps. But I had to think of some unique products, and one of the tasks that we had is to think of what we call low cost product.
Right.
So an
Okay.
LCP, to an entry level product to connect with people and allow them to connect to you without having to pay, a lot of out of pocket.
Right.
So at that time, I also connected with this gentleman from Scotland, I believe. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Gab Carlos.
Yep. Gav. Yep.
Gab actually came up with the idea. So it was
Okay.
his initial idea. He was doing this program called Live Tribe, and then we connected, and it just made sense. And he asked if we could bring the groups together to make it
Right.
one group. That's what we did under the American Real brand.
Right.
But it was new to me, which was great because I actually went through the course myself.
You did, and that was fantastic because we get to see you, like even, the head person doing the same things we are. So we kind of learned from you and each other. Watch, it was awesome. I loved it.
Correct. And it just goes to show you, look, at the end of the day, yes, I'm the founder of the company, but I'm just like everyone else. I
Right.
had fear of going live. I didn't know what to say. And there's days I still don't know what to say. So, it really helps bring your vulnerability out in a good way.
Yes.
That you really start to think about things, more strategically before
Yes.
you go live. And it just helps bring out maybe some things that you wouldn't normally say. It's really like talking into a mirror. That's the best way for me to
Yes. I mean, we are live, which means it's not pre-recorded. We don't get to take, 20 takes and adjust and edit or anything. So it's like, all right, whatever comes out, comes out. And then eventually, as people get to know you and they want to follow you, it becomes one of those things where you have to deal with live comments. That kind of threw me off a little bit. So it was different. But again, you had the community there. They were a great group of people, all of them very loving, very accepting, and just ready to encourage everybody to just continue going. So I like that aspect. It's very different from anything I've ever seen anywhere else on the internet. So I think that was a major selling point on your program and your brand and how you do things.
No, I appreciate it. And the group is growing, which is nice. We're seeing new people come into the group all the time, but it is still pretty intimate. So people
Yes.
really get to know each other. And you're right, there's nothing out there like it.
No.
And it's hard to describe unless you actually do it. So
I would recommend that, actually. I would recommend you looking up. It's a Facebook group, American Live Tribe 21. There are some rules and regulations, but it's really simple to follow. So if you have any questions, please reach out to Roger at American Real TV, so he can answer any questions you have. That's my advice to anybody. Anybody I interview, please go reach out to them. Go ask questions, do your due diligence, and make sure it fits for you as well. It fits for me, but then make sure it fits for you as well.
Absolutely. No, thank you.
So coming back to your journey, because I've been privy to you growing and expanding and all the ideas that come, with everything that's going on. And I felt good about being able to recommend new people to you as well, because I knew they had a skill set that you could possibly add to your collection of people that are in the group. And eventually you want to offer courses as well. So you had that idea. I haven't spoken to you in a little while, but how is that, like, how does that look as the future approaches? Like, is that something still that you're looking to do, to add courses and to have people share like a group to teach each other?
Absolutely. So as you can imagine, like anything, building something like this, it doesn't happen overnight.
Nope.
And if it did, everyone would be doing it, right? So
exactly.
There's so many things, and I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, but I'm trying to get better at that. So you could see by, we put an episode out every week, so you can't make
Yes.
everything perfect. But we are taking our time building out our academy, because
Right.
it's really, really important that we get that right. And
Right.
there's a lot of moving pieces on the back end. Just setting up all the, email responders. We have to pre-record videos.
Yes.
And what I'm doing in our academy is I'm actually connecting with people that I've interviewed and bringing them on as course leaders. So whatever
Right.
their field of expertise is, they will be coming in to American Real and teaching that course. So it's
Right.
very similar if you saw like Masterclass on
Yes.
on Facebook. It's that type of concept. The difference
Yeah.
is our program is going to be interactive. So
Good.
we will get live calls with people once a week or twice a week to help them along and really hold their hand and hold them accountable so they can achieve whatever the goal is of that particular course.
That's
So
really
to answer your
cool.
question, yes, we are building it. We are doing some beta testing right now. We have some courses going on with one-on-one courses, and we're just taking those learnings, and then we'll be applying that to the bigger, academy when that goes live, hopefully early this summer.
Right. So lots going on with American Real. I'm actually really excited. You mentioned that you release new episodes every week, and you release them on YouTube, but then you do a preview on Facebook, and you make sure that there are clips and sound bites and quotes on your page as well. But the big question for me is, these aren't all everyday people. These are some major hitters as well. How do you, from going from, trying to set up a podcast to going through London Real and setting up American Real, where did you decide you were going to pluck up the courage and ask everyone, like anyone you looked up to or anyone you thought had a message, how did you find the courage to go ask them, hey, do you have time? I would love to interview you.
Well, again, like anything, it's a lot of work. So it probably takes 100 emails to get one guest.
Okay.
So it may look or appear easy that, wow, now
I know it's not easy. That's why I asked.
No, right. And I'm not saying that. It's just a combination of having good people help me, and yeah, just having the confidence and the courage to, people are people. So at the end of the day, whether someone's a celebrity or not, I'm going to treat them the same. I'm going to offer them to come on the show the same way. There's no magic in that other than just being authentic. I think that is the key. That's the lesson I've learned over this past 2 years, is just be yourself. If I'm me, then I get a lot further than trying to be someone who I'm not. So
exactly.
And look, that's a lesson I think that we have to continue to tell ourselves, because at times I could see myself slipping, and going back to my old ways, and then I just have to slap myself back to say, no, just stay on track, be yourself, be authentic, and people naturally will, not everyone, but people that will attract to you will be, become part of your loyal following.
And I think that's a major lesson, because a lot of people, growing up, all you wanted to do was fit in. And now it's like, okay, well, how do I be me without offending people? And then you're like, okay, I don't really worry about offending people. I'm just going to be me. And to go back to Live Tribe, your 21-day challenge, I felt like there were times where I maybe didn't say, I was on there for a minute and I said what I needed to say, but I wasn't being authentic, and my group could tell. And they would tell me, hey, what's going on? Something's missing. Be yourself. Stop being afraid. They could see it in me, so they would be able to comment on those things, and that was really, really encouraging to me. So for you to decide, you know what, I'm just going to be me, and we're going to ask and see what happens. They're just people. That's exactly the kind of advice I would give anyone else as well. That's exactly the way I would approach things, and I'm really glad you said that out loud, because it's important for people to realize that you do have that power within you. It's just a matter of recognizing it, or having a group of people around you that can help you, encourage you, help you step forward and do the things that you love most. So I love that a lot. And 21 Live Tribe helped me.
Yeah, no, myself as well. And along these same lines, sometimes when we do things like I'm doing with American Real, I get a lot of people reaching out to me, and a lot of comments. Some hate. Some some
you win, some you lose.
Yeah, no, that's right. But the good thing is, like today, I received a great comment from someone who watched the Peter Sage episode last week, and the guy was really nice. He sent a comment. He said, look, he says, I don't think you're doing it on purpose, but when Peter's talking, when you respond to him, you say sure a lot, sure.
Oh.
He says, I don't think you're meaning it condescending. He says, but it comes across a
It's
bit
coming.
condescending.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm glad he pointed that out, because
Yeah.
I don't have the time to watch the episodes after they're aired. Someone edits them and then they go up. But for someone to take the time to write to me and point that out, I'll remember that next time.
That's constructive. Yeah.
It's constructive. So you have to be open-minded enough to say, look, I don't know it all. I am constantly learning and growing, and that's life. We never stop learning. If we do, then, we're
it's kind of the end then.
That's right. Exactly.
But I understand that. And the first thing that crossed my mind when you mentioned that, that constructive piece of criticism, and the first thing that crossed my mind was, I can only imagine you're in front of this person, you're trying to think of the questions you want to ask next, and so it's like a filler word. You're not even meaning it. It doesn't mean anything. It's kind of like, okay, what do I say so I can keep rolling in my head what I need to ask next and not lose my place in where this needs to go, keeping it on track. So yes, I can only imagine. And I say a lot. So yeah, I definitely get it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So wow. Again, but lots of new content coming out. I know you roll out one episode a week, and it always looks so polished. Now, I also know you had one studio while I was in the course and doing, my many cycles. I know you eventually moved to another studio, and that's another major part of this whole production. It's not just hosting a Facebook group. It's not just reaching out to people and getting people to agree to do interviews with you. You also have a setup. You also have video that you need to edit, just piece together and cut and edit and make sure it looks really nice and it flows really well. Like that's a whole production, and that's not easy. That's not something I'm capable of doing yet. Maybe in the future, but right now it's live and it's really simple.
It's like everything, though. We've developed a good template, so we just follow process and we do things the exact same way every single time. And when you do that, mistakes happen all the time. So it might look really polished, but I'm telling you, every episode, a mic will be, bad. There'll be a short, or we'll have to use the backup sound, or the lighting is off, or, it just seems to be Murphy's Law. Every single episode, something happens. So yeah, I kind of laugh about it because there's really nothing you could do. There's no sense getting upset about it. It's just preparing as best you can. Not making the same mistake twice, if you could help it. And again, luckily I have really good people like Michael Leonard who produce the show every single week. And it's a tremendous help. He's a tremendous guy, and I definitely could not do it without him. So our team is growing, and Michael is, at the head of our production. And we'll continue to do that as we grow and put out more content.
Very cool. It's just, you're like next level. Eventually I will be where you are, but for now I'm good with live video and just talking to friends and making new friends, and that's enough for me at the moment. Sorry, Ashley said, oh, the interviewee cries and can't get, aw. But that's the beauty of an interview. Sometimes you get to ask those questions that when I tell my story in a group of friends, I'm not going to mention everything, but you get to dig and ask those questions, and you can see where there is something that, the public needs to know, but you need the interviewee to kind of like slowly bring it out. So I remember Ashley's interview, and it was deep. It was very insightful, but you were the one who was able to gently guide her out of whatever she had that she needed to say, so that the audience could hear it too and be impressed and inspired to do what they needed to do in their life. So those are the beautiful things about being able to talk to people. I love that, and I know you love it too.
No, absolutely. And what I really love about this whole world today is that you're in Singapore, I'm in New York, we're able to connect, we're able to have a great conversation, people could watch, it's live, and that, the connections that have come, like Ashley, she came from a friend of our mutual friend, Chris Perry, who I interviewed. So I would have never interviewed her if it wasn't for interviewing him. I would have never interviewed, several people or met you without interviewing Ebony. So it's just a big web, that is just so awesome. And I have to tell you, the thing that makes me most happy out of everything with the, especially with the live tribe, is that I see friendships forming outside of American Real. So if someone puts a post up on their general Facebook page, if I go and look at that person's post, 9 times out of 10, most of the comments are from people in the live tribe.
Yep. It's great that way. A lot of Facebook groups don't do that. A lot of Facebook groups, you know, they're focused on one specific, maybe a piece of content or something to learn. And once they come out of that, it's like, unless they really connect, maybe 1 or 2 out of a group of 100, maybe you'll connect with them and you'll be friends outside of Facebook. It's not like that with Live Tribe. I think everyone that was in my first 3 cycles are friends with me now. Yes. Every one of them. And as people come on, I see that people still friend request me, and it's nice to see. It's nice to get to know them. So I don't know. I loved it, and I loved it so much that I wanted to make sure that I referred as many people as I could that might benefit from this, because honestly, eventually video is going to be the thing, right? So people are going to have to get in front of the camera, talk to their audiences, whether they have a business or not. It's just coming. It's just the way it's going right now. And I was really excited to introduce people like Sarah. You had Sarah interview with you, Cassie from Profit Passion Academy, Ashley and Tammy Gibson as well. Like, there were a lot of people that came through, and I'm really excited that my friends gelled with your friends and they all became friends. It was really cool. Yeah.
No, and I'm very appreciative of all that, Tika, because a lot of it came from all of your hard work and introductions, and it's just wonderful.
That's not hard work. That's just being neighborly. It's what we do in the South anyway. So yeah, I loved it. I've had a great time. I've learned a lot, and I overcame a lot of fears. And it wasn't just being in front of the camera. It was, is it okay to say what I really feel? Is it okay to tell all of these stories? Will people laugh? Like those little things that you worry about, those silly things we worry about, like at cocktail parties, like, do I say this? Is it appropriate? And it's such a safe space that you can really test those things. You can really, if you're very spiritual, speak about spirituality. If you really, politics bothers you and it's something that you notice a lot and you want to say something, just be yourself. And it's very encouraging and supportive. And I've been so grateful that I got to be a part of all of that.
Yeah, no, and I think the one word that comes to mind to me is that it's a group of non-judgment.
Yes, yes.
People do not judge based on how you look, how you speak, what you may mess up, what you happen to be talking about that day. It's just, there's no judgment. So unlike regular Facebook, it's a lot more challenging to go on your public page and
it's like an image you need to portray, right? But it's not like that here at all.
Right. But what's good, at least what I found is I'm at the point now, and I learned this from Ed Milet. As soon as you could get comfortable, really comfortable with yourself, where you really do not care what people think about you, not in a arrogant way, right? But in a way that you're just comfortable with who you are.
Yes.
Then things just magic happens, and I'm not 100%, but I'm getting to that point where I'll put a video out anywhere, anytime, and just talk about what's on my mind. So what I'd love to see again is that people that are in the tribe are now going out to their public pages and doing similar videos, and that's great to see.
Exactly, and I love that. And you're right. I was very worried about lighting. I was worried about what my face looked like. I was worried about if, my hair looked like. I like being outside. I realized I like being outside. I get a lot of energy from just being outside, around trees, feeling the wind. I got to listen in as people told me, okay, well, I can't hear you. The wind is really loud. Like those little things, it was nice. I got to be myself. It was totally no judgment whatsoever. And I learned to be myself. So more than being live 60 seconds, saying what you need to say, I got to be myself.
Yes.
And there's not a lot of places in front of people where you can do that. A lot of times you filter yourself, and I didn't have to do that here.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. So for those of you who don't know, he's very, very active on YouTube. He is very active on Facebook. If you want to join the Live Tribe, please message him, ask him what you need to do next. The cycles are 21 days. And 60 seconds, everybody can spare 60 seconds. It doesn't matter whether in your bathroom, you're outside, on the way to work, whatever. Just 60 seconds, go live, say what you got to say, and then you're off. It's very easy. You kind of leave it on the live, and you can go about your business. So please, please try it. I think it's very, very beneficial for everybody. Tune into his interviews. There are a lot of very, very significant people who have great stories, and you never know where your next piece of inspiration will hit from. So please check out his videos, check out all of his podcast episodes. He is available on pretty much all platforms, right? So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm not sure if you're active on LinkedIn or not.
I am.
But it's easy to find you.
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn as well. Yes, and really the easiest place is just to go to our website, AmericanReal.tv. And
exactly.
That's a great way to connect.
Exactly. So I really want to thank you for the time that you've taken to sit here with me. It's nice to have you on the other side of the camera and have you answer questions instead.
I enjoy it. It's relaxing for me.
It's different, right? It's kind of nice. So I get you to tell me your story, and you get to tell me all the wonderful things you're working on. I'm excited to hear more about the Academy as it gets up and running, and see where I can promote and let people know where to come if they need certain skill sets that they want to learn from. Yeah, so if you have any other questions, you guys, please reach out. He's a very humble guy. He's from New York. He's really cool. Just reach out, start a conversation. You never know where it'll go. I'm hoping it will help you, though.
Thank you, Pika.
You're welcome.
It very much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You take care, and I will catch you all again later.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.